The Twin Within by Gunnar E. Garrett, Jr. Fade in. Interior, car, night, present day. Stephen, 39, wears a hoodie over white hospital scrubs. Hair a mess, he rocks back and forth in the driver's seat. Stephen spins a hospital bracelet around his wrist and mumbles to himself.
It's okay. We're okay. Just keep driving.
Stephen's eyes meet his reflection in the rearview mirror. The eyes in his reflection are filled with hate.
This is their fault, not yours.
Stephen's grip tightens around the bracelet, and it digs into his skin.
They took your life. They stole it from you.
Stephen glances at a handgun on the passenger seat, and the rocking stops. His eyes shift back to the mirror.
They're just trying to help us.
Stephen rocks back and forth.
Help us? She doesn't want to help us. She wants us gone. She wants you gone. If she wanted to help, she never would have sent you to that shithole.
Stephen stretches the bracelet taut.
She's gonna find a new husband and a new father for your... Stop. They'll hate you. And her. She'll fuck. Enough!
An infuriated Stephen repeatedly slams his hands against the steering wheel. Stephen tears at the bracelet, but it fails to break. Frustrated, he rips through the bracelet with his teeth and spits it onto the dash. Stephen grabs the gun and bursts out of the car. The bracelet on the dash reads, Shady Lane Mental Institution. Interior, Val's house, night. Val, 38, more worried about being a mother than taking care of herself, carries 2 fruit drinks into the living room. She places them on the coffee table in front of Madison, 12, hair in pigtails and a sweet smile. Madison, on the floor, assembles a puzzle of 2 kittens. On the side of the couch behind Madison lies an antique doll. With a knock at the door, Val glances at her watch, then discreetly peeks out the window through the curtains. Stephen leaps in front of the window and slams his hands against the glass. Val jumps. Stephen's deep breaths fog the glass.
Open the door.
Val lets the curtains fall and scrambles.
Madison, hide!
Madison is petrified.
What? Why? What's going on?
The knock at the door gets louder.
Just go. Attic, now.
Stephen presses his cheek to the front door and caresses it with his hand. Then, with his palm open, taps his wedding ring against the door.
Val, honey, open up. I'm not mad, baby. I promise. I understand why you put me where you did, but I'm better now. I don't even need my pills anymore. Just open up, baby.
Val pulls the attic ladder down from the ceiling. Madison frantically scans the house.
Morgan, we have to hide. Where are you?
Madison quickly snatches the doll from the side couch and makes for the attic. Val dials 911.
911, what's your emergency?
Madison climbs into the attic, doll in hand.
There's a man with a gun trying to break into my house.
Val hangs up immediately. Attic. Madison glances at Morgan, 12, her twin, a mirror image of herself, yet less fearful. Madison peers down at Val, about to close the attic door.
Mom, you didn't give them the address.
Stephen slams on the door.
Open the fucking door.
They'll trace the call.
Madison fearfully nods.
Whatever happens, you and Morgan stay up there.
The door shakes with every bang.
Mama?
Promise me.
Madison shakes her head, and Val lets the attic door close. Madison ganders towards Morgan, scared to death. Living room. The front door bursts open, and Stephen's wrathful posture fills the doorway. Val vigilantly approaches Stephen.
Hey, baby.
Stephen shoves Val to the side, and she crashes into the wall. Stephen scours the room, then storms down the hallway.
You're hiding someone from me.
Attic. Madison peeks through a crack in the attic hatch and spots Stephen flash past. Val follows. Bedroom. Val nervously watches Stephen pillage the room.
I don't know what you're talking about, Stephen. There's no one here but me.
Stephen stops.
Just you?
Val nods.
Where's Madison?
At a friend's house. No kids. Just you and me, baby.
Stephen flings the closet door open and rummages through the clothes that hang against the wall.
Let me get your pills.
I told you I don't need them anymore.
Dr. Stone said that?
Dr. Stone's only worried about making a boat payment. Doesn't give a shit about...
Stephen spots Val's wedding ring on her dresser. Val catches Stephen's glance at the ring. Stephen whips around and draws a gun from his waist.
Where the fuck is he?
Val keeps her composure.
No one else here, baby. Just you and me. Just us. We're okay, all right? It's just us, baby. I only took it off to put on lotion.
Val extends her arms and diligently moves to Stephen. Stephen lets the gun slowly fall to his side. Val wraps one arm around Stephen and rubs his chest with the other. Attic. Madison and Morgan tremble and frantically search for their mother and father through the crack in the attic door. A spider crawls across the floor onto Madison's hand and sends her into a panic. Bedroom. Val's hand slides down Stephen's arm towards the gun. Her fingertips wrap around the barrel. Attic. Madison frantically shakes her arm to fling the spider from her hand. The doll slips from Madison and falls to the floor. Bedroom. Stephen hears the thump and pulls away from Val with a sinister stare. He slaps Val across the face and knocks her to the ground, then storms into the hallway. Stephen methodically searches the area. Val shoots into the hall, and Stephen glances back at her. Stephen catches the sway of the rope on the attic door, and his eyes slowly lower to Val. Val pleadingly shakes her head. Stephen moves stealthily under the attic door. Attic. Morgan shushes a terrified Madison. Hallway. Val charges at Stephen. He swings his gun to Val and pulls the trigger. Val rolls to the ground and clutches her chest. Stephen straddles Val and fires the gun once more. Attic. Madison draws back in horror, and her eyes widen. Hallway. Stephen turns the gun to the attic and fires 3 more rounds through the door. Madison screams. Gun pointed to the entry, Stephen grabs the rope and lowers the attic door. Attic. On her knees in the entry, Madison hyperventilates and blood pours from her shoulder. Madison's eyes find Morgan perched in a dark corner. In a trance, Stephen lowers his gun. The sound of sirens whine in the distance. Stephen lowers his eyes to the gun and opens the cylinder. Only 1 live round remains. Stephen flips the cylinder closed, and his eyes elevate to a pale-faced Madison.
Never let this take control of this. Ever.
Stephen places the gun to his head and squeezes the trigger. Madison's body shudders at the shot, and her weakened body crumbles to the floor. An infuriated Morgan gazes out from the dark corner. Interior, farmhouse, day, living room. Super, 6 months later. Amy, 40, with the naiveness of a small-town girl, sits on her couch, hunched over a notepad, and taps her pen. Amy brushes the 1 strand of hair she can't keep in her ponytail out of her face. An idea sparks, and Amy swiftly scrolls the pen across the paper.
Amy,
Just a second.
Amy rapidly jots down as much as she can.
let's go, we're hungry.
Amy reluctantly sets the pen and pad down, then hops up and makes her way to the kitchen. Amy pulls a plate of sandwiches from the fridge.
Amy,
Just hang on a sec.
Exterior, farmhouse, day. Kevin, 40, in grease-stained overalls and the attitude of a former high school jock, sits on the tailgate of his truck. Matt, 37, an overweight farm boy, hands Kevin a beer.
Amy still hassling you?
I think she's gotten over it for the most part.
Kevin takes a swig of beer.
Hell, I couldn't imagine throwing away 18 years of my life.
Matt lifts his wore-out ball cap to scratch his head.
Right. That's why this whole foster thing.
Heather, 28, absurdly attractive and knows it, even though she pretends not to, pulls into the driveway.
What the fuck is Heather doing here?
Matt makes an attempt to tuck his shirt and adjust his hat.
Her and Amy are doing some stupid book club thing.
And you couldn't say, hey, Matt, you know that insanely hot girl you have a thing for? Yeah, she'll be here. Don't dress like you're retarded, huh?
Kevin glares at Matt as he fidgets.
Yeah, 'cause that totally would have made a difference.
Heather exits her car and makes her way to the house.
Ladies?
Kevin throws up a wave and takes another swig of his beer. Kevin and Matt both stare at her ass on her way past. Matt gives Kevin a slap on the shoulder, then follows after Heather. Matt gives a head nod back to Kevin, who shakes his head in return.
Heather, hey, hold up.
Heather, uncertain she wants to, turns back.
Nope.
What do you mean, no?
I mean, if you're about to ask me out again, nope.
Kevin chuckles.
All right. But we both know you can't resist this lump of love forever.
Matt lifts his shirt over his bulging beer belly and gives a little shimmy while he caresses his hair-covered gut.
You realize you choose to be his friend, right?
And part-time lover.
Kevin blows Matt a kiss. Amy steps out of the house with a tray of sandwiches, confused at Matt's methodical dance.
Is this a bad time?
It's a perfect time. Come and get you some of this.
Amy attempts to ignore Matt and bring Kevin a sandwich, but Matt steps in front of her. Amy takes a sandwich from the tray and holds it to the side.
Would you like to eat yours off the ground?
Jesus Christ, I was just playing. But that shit ain't funny.
Amy smirks and hands Matt the sandwich. Heather gives an eye roll with a shake of her head. Amy brings Kevin his sandwich, and Kevin polishes his beer.
You want to grab me another one?
Amy rifles through the ice chest.
What took you so long anyway?
I was working on my book.
Kevin's lack of approval is painfully clear by the look on his face.
That must have been the last one.
Are there any more in the house?
Maybe you've had enough?
How about I'm a grown-ass man and I'll say when I've had enough?
Amy pulls back slightly humiliated, and an awkward silence overtakes the group.
I'll just grab one. I'm closest to the door anyway.
Heather escapes into the house.
Why do you do that?
I just thought since you still have work to do that you might want to...
I want to what? Look like an asshole in front of everyone?
No,
I don't even want to hear it right now. Just go do your stupid book thing.
Amy tucks her tail and returns to the house. Beer in hand, Heather passes Amy on the way out of the house. Matt eats his sandwich and awkwardly stares at Kevin.
Why don't you get back to work?
Bro, I'm not done yet.
Take the fucking sandwich with you.
Matt and his sandwich head out to the barn. Kevin hops from the tailgate and grabs the beer from Heather. He slaps Heather's ass, then heads to the barn.
You want to keep those hands to yourself.
Kevin turns back.
Or what?
Heather gives a seductive little grin. Kevin begins to step to Heather. But the house door flings open and he quickly steps back. With tears in her eyes, Amy holds a phone at her side.
The agency called.
A smile shines through the tears. Interior, car, day. In the driver's seat, Amy peeks at Madison and Morgan through the rearview mirror. The doll is seatbelted in the middle. Madison clutches her doll's hand tight and stares out the window at the countryside.
Have you ever been to a farm before?
No.
You'll love it. It's nice and quiet, a lot of room to play.
It looks like the set of a horror film.
Madison glances to Morgan. Morgan stares back at Madison, then turns her head to avoid conversation. Amy's smile fades and she tries to recover.
Do you watch a lot of horror films?
No. I think they're creepy.
I like your doll.
My mother gave it to me.
Madison turns back to the window and watches the farmland pass by in silence. Amy turns to the back seat, about to speak, then decides against it and continues to drive. Madison glances to a displeased and unimpressed, then back to the window.
If you ever just want to talk about whatever, just know that I'm here for you.
Amy continues to drive in the uncomfortable silence. Exterior, farmhouse, day. Amy turns into a long gravel driveway. Amy exits the car to greet Kevin, who approaches. Kevin wipes grease from his hand with an old rag. Madison climbs out of the vehicle, doll in hand, and studies the property.
You guys made it. So, what do you think?
Madison shrugs her shoulders and looks to Morgan, who just shakes her head, grossly repulsed. Amy pops the trunk, and Kevin removes the 2 bags.
What's with the creepy doll?
It was her mother's, I guess, so try and go easy.
Madison catches sight of an old well and makes a beeline straight for it.
Don't wander too far.
Madison nears the old well, covered by a few loose boards. Madison looks up at Morgan across the well, and they share a hint of a smile. Madison quickly slides a few boards off the well. Madison leans over the edge and stares at her reflection, and Morgan's, across from her own. A pebble falls into the well and ripples the water and the reflection.
Hey, sweetie.
Madison tears herself from her reflection and turns to Amy. Amy steps to Madison's side.
That's not exactly the safest place to be playing, so maybe we could stay away from there until Kevin can do something to make it a little safer.
Madison catches a quick glimpse of Morgan's eye roll, then gives Amy a conceited nod.
You want to come check out your new room?
Madison gives a small nod.
We have 2 beds, so you 2 will have to figure out who gets which.
Amy jokingly points her finger back and forth between Madison and her doll, and gives a light-hearted laugh. Madison squeezes her doll, gives Amy a soft smile, then takes one last quick peek back into the well at her reflection. Interior, Madison's room, day. Madison wanders her new room and notices how perfect and put together the room is for twins. Morgan situates herself on the far bed, not ready to be a part of anyone else's family. Amy hangs back in the doorway.
Whichever bed is fine.
Amy joyfully looks on.
You can rearrange the beds or do whatever, and there's a dresser for your clothes. Or if you'd rather use a closet, whatever makes you feel at home.
It's nice.
Thank you. It's a little dusty, but it's all brand new. Kevin and I just never got a chance to use it
Amy fidgets.
because, well, there was a point when I was actually pregnant with twins, but things change. There were complications.
Amy holds her emotions and her eyes wander the room.
I'm sorry.
Or don't be. Life has a way of working itself out.
Amy smiles. Madison wanders to the window and briefly stares at the view of the property and barn.
I'll let you get comfortable, and I'll call you down when dinner's done.
Amy begins to exit.
Mrs. Amy?
You can call me Amy, or just, yeah, Amy's fine.
Thank you.
Amy melts.
You're welcome, sweetheart.
Amy, filled with joy, backs out of the doorway. Madison turns back to see the scowl on Morgan's face.
Mrs. Amy, blah.
Madison takes a seat on her bed and lays the doll in her lap.
What? I was just trying to be nice.
Morgan throws herself back onto her pillow.
So, what do you think? It's not all that bad, right?
It's still not our home.
Yeah, but at least Amy seems nice.
Morgan flings herself up.
Seems nice. Dad seemed nice too. And I'm not sure if you remember what happened there.
Madison plays with her doll's hair.
Why would you even say that?
Interior, farmhouse, day. Bathroom. Kevin washes the grease from his hands, but slows to a stop at the sound of mumbles. He shuts the faucet off and, motionless, listens to the muffled speech from Madison's room. Water drips from his hands into the sink. Eyes and ears focused, Kevin dries his hands, then diligently makes his way out of the bathroom and down the hallway. Gradually edging forward, Kevin nears Madison's door. It's left open a crack.
That's not what I'm saying.
So you think we should have done nothing?
Kevin creeps close enough to peek through the crack and spot Madison on her bed.
No, he definitely deserved it. I'm just saying we don't even know what these people are anything like. The people at the boarding house.
To get a better look, Kevin takes another step, and his eyes shift from Madison to the opposite bed. Kevin can only see a portion of the doll on the other bed. He shifts to get a better look.
But you're willing to wait and find out.
Kevin's hand applies pressure to the door. It barely moves, though it creaks when it does. Madison's room. The room goes silent, and Madison's head whips to the door. Hallway. Kevin recoils. Madison's room. Madison leaps to her feet and charges towards the door, then flings it open. Hallway. From the doorway, Madison's head pivots, inspecting the hall, then stops on the bathroom door as it clicks shut. She holds her suspicious glare, then pulls back into her room. Bathroom. Kevin holds his position and listens intently, but hears nothing, then leans his ear against the door. Knock, knock. Kevin snaps away from the door, then hesitantly opens it. Amy stands at the door.
I'm gonna start dinner.
Kevin nods, thoughts clearly somewhere else.
You okay?
Yeah, just washing up.
Okay.
Amy leans in and kisses Kevin. Kevin watches her walk down the hall past Madison's room, whose door is now cracked open. The sliver of a Morgan is visible for only a moment. The door closes. Interior, dining room, night. Madison, head down, sits across the table from Kevin and Amy. There's silence, except for the scrapes of utensils against the flatware. Madison keeps her head buried in her food. Kevin leans into Amy.
At least you didn't bring that creepy doll down here.
Madison stops dead and lifts her head, eyes locked with Kevin's.
So just the three of us then?
Madison shovels another bite into her mouth.
She's not hungry.
Honey, maybe we can try not talking with our mouth full.
Madison continues to chew and nod. Amy forces a smile, then takes a bite of food.
So, like, what do you guys do?
Amy chews, then wipes her mouth with a napkin.
Well, Kevin runs the farm. He does most of the field work and mechanic work himself. Sometimes he does get a little help from our friend Matt. You'll meet him.
What about you?
Oh, well, I've been working on writing a book.
Amy is pleased with herself.
Basically, she's a housewife.
Yes, I do take care of things around the house also, but I have been making really good progress, so.
Kevin stops a forkful of food before it enters his mouth.
Most jobs pay. And I don't know about you, but I haven't seen any checks in the mailbox yet. So until then, it's more like a hobby than anything else.
Kevin drinks his beer. Amy is embarrassed.
What's it about?
It's nothing really, and he's right. It really is more of a hobby than anything else.
Madison's eyes creep to Kevin, then back to Amy.
Maybe you could tell me later? Like a bedtime story or something.
Oh, yeah, that sounds like a wonderful idea.
Kevin stands from the table and chugs the rest of what is almost an entirely full beer.
You guys enjoy that. I'm gonna crash. I gotta get up early and get that hay raked and baled.
Amy starts to clear the table.
Maybe in the morning when you make my coffee, you make it a little stronger this time.
Amy nods to Kevin.
And I'll think of some chores that need doing.
Kevin kisses Amy, then exits. Amy gives a reluctant smile to Madison.
He'll grow on you.
Amy holds her stomach for a moment.
I think I may have eaten a little much.
Amy stands and clears the table. Madison grabs a few extras and piles them on her plate.
Oh, honey, I'll get that.
No, I was gonna bring this to my room.
Oh, we don't usually eat in our rooms, sweetheart. But I suppose under the circumstances, and this way, if somebody decides they're hungry.
Amy shoots a warm smile at Madison. Madison gives a little smile in return and leaves with a plate of food. Amy momentarily holds her stomach and grimaces, then continues to clean the table. Interior, Amy's room, night. Sock in hand, Kevin searches the room. He spins about and checks near his dresser, then by a pair of bassinets in the corner, half covered with unfolded clothes.
I just had the damn thing.
Kevin flips over the bed covers and searches in the bed. Amy steps in from an ensuite and brushes her teeth.
Did you check under the bed?
Kevin's frustration grows.
Have you seen me under the bed?
I just thought
Well, why would it be there?
maybe you dropped it and it got kicked under there, that's all.
Kevin rolls his eyes.
Why is it so hot in here?
Amy fans herself and returns to the bathroom. Kevin continues his search.
What's the deal with Madison?
What do you mean?
Kevin kneels to look under the bed and pushes an old wooden baseball bat out of the way. He finds and removes his lost sock.
Aren't you worried she might be a little off?
Amy enters. Kevin sits on the edge of the bed and pulls his socks on.
You found it.
Kevin gives an irked glance.
We just have to give her time to adjust.
Yeah, well, better happen quick. I don't want to see that creepy thing floating around my house for the next 3 months.
Wait, do you mean her or the doll?
Either.
I realize this isn't going to be easy, but imagine how hard it is for her. It's a lot to deal with, I'm sure. The loss of her mother and the whole thing with her father.
Kevin crawls into bed.
Speaking of which, you're not at all worried about how that's going to affect her, like, mentally?
I'm sure she's devastated and scared, but that's what we're here for.
That's what therapists are for. And I'm telling you, something's off. No girl that age should be carrying dolls around.
Amy finds her spot in bed next to Kevin.
It's like a safety blanket, and I'm sure once she gets comfortable, she'll start to open up and she won't need it anymore.
Still creepy.
I remember my sister always carrying a doll around like that when we were kids, and I hated it. One time I even tried to hide it from her at the store, hoping she wouldn't find it, and we'd have to leave without it.
Good story, but it'd be better if it was about you hiding Madison's doll.
Amy sinks into her pillow, and Kevin clicks off the light on his nightstand. Interior, Madison's room, night. Madison lies awake in bed and stares at the ceiling. A full plate of food rests on the nightstand between the beds.
Amy's really nice.
Doubtful.
And she's a really good cook. And she writes books, too.
Great.
Not everyone's bad, you know. And besides, I'm pretty sure Amy couldn't harm a fly.
And Kevin,
What about him?
you're so naive.
Because I have hope?
Because you trust these people we don't even know. They could be anybody. Chances are he ends up hurting us for your precious little Amy.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means you have your head up Amy's butt. And Amy does this. Amy does that. She's so great.
I'm not even listening to you anymore.
Fine. End up like Mom.
Madison grows impatient.
Dad escaped from a mental hospital.
How do you know Kevin didn't?
Oh my God. Good night.
Madison buries her head under the covers.
Keep being soft and see what happens.
I said good night.
Later, there's a knock at the door and it opens. Madison slides the covers off her face. Amy pokes her head in the door.
Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking.
Amy closes the door. Madison pulls the covers back over her head for a beat, then whips them off and turns to the other bed.
I don't know why you're always...
The bed is empty. Interior, farmhouse, night. Amy's room. Amy slips into bed and hears glass shatter downstairs. Amy bolts from the room and into the hallway. She flips a light on and hurries to the stairway. The lower level is dark. Halfway down, Amy holds and peers through the darkness.
Madison?
Without a reply, Amy moves forward. The stairs creak with each step. At the bottom step, on edge, Amy pauses. A shuffle heard from the kitchen heightens Amy's senses. Amy apprehensively continues to the kitchen.
You down here, sweetie?
Amy creeps around the corner on high alert. Eyes scrunched, Amy leans into the darkness. Her eyes adjust to the lack of light, and a figure begins to materialize. Amy takes a step. Her eyes widen, and she drops to the floor. Amy shrieks in pain.
Ah!
Kevin rushes in and flips the light on. The floor and Amy are soaked red. Kevin hurries to Amy's side, and his head whips to Madison.
What did you do?
Morgan steps into the entryway and looks on. A humiliated Madison just stares. Covered in juice and surrounded by broken glass, Amy grabs her ankle to examine her foot. Blood drips to the floor from a piece of glass lodged deep in her foot.
I'm sorry, I was thirsty and...
Bed!
It was an accident. It's fine.
Madison lingers.
Now!
Madison's fearful eyes shift from Kevin to Morgan. Scowl on her face, Morgan storms off, and Madison follows behind her.
It's not fine. Look at your foot. You shouldn't be up wandering the house this late.
Kevin takes hold of Amy's leg.
Hold still.
Kevin grips the glass between his two fingers. Amy winces. Kevin dislodges the glass from Amy's foot, and blood pours from the wound. Kevin quickly grabs a paper towel from the counter and applies pressure to Amy's foot.
Let's go get you wrapped up.
Kevin lifts Amy to her feet, then helps her from the room.
You can clean this up later.
Amy is disheartened. Interior, Madison's room, day. Madison lies in bed and reads a book. She lowers the book to her chest.
I really don't care if you're going to talk to me or not.
Madison raises her book and continues to read. A frustrated Madison slams the book closed, rises to her feet, and wanders to the window. Madison overlooks the driveway and surrounding area.
If you're not going to talk, then I guess I don't need you, do I?
If you don't need me, then why don't you just get rid of me then?
Madison shrugs her off.
Really? I think you do need me.
Morgan approaches Madison and pokes her shoulder. Madison cringes.
Or things like that are gonna keep happening to you. Your problem is you're too soft. You think everyone's so nice and everyone's gonna help you whenever you need it. But the truth is, if you didn't have me, you probably never would have made it out of that last foster home. And I know you wouldn't have made it out of that weird place the state put us.
Not everyone's like Dad was.
Yeah, but most people are. There's shitty people who are gonna do shitty things. And the only way to stop it is to stop them.
A devastated Madison lowers her head and sinks into her bed. A guilt-ridden Morgan sits down alongside her. Morgan extends her arms for a hug, and Madison raises hers. Fast as lightning, Morgan slaps Madison in her shoulder.
Ow, jerk face!
Morgan smirks and flings herself onto the other bed.
That's what you get. Now get your shit together.
While Madison tenderly massages her shoulder, she spots Heather's car pull into the driveway through the window. Madison rises from her bed to get a better look. Heather hops out of her car and greets Kevin. An intrigued Madison pays close attention. Heather and Kevin exchange words for a moment, then Heather does a quick scan of the area. Heather speedily follows Kevin to the barn. At the barn door, Heather kisses Kevin and pulls him through. Madison glares out her window and fills with animosity. Deep in thought, Madison returns to her bed and slowly rocks herself. She grabs her doll and clutches it tight.
I told you.
Madison springs to her feet and heads for the door.
Where are you going?
To confirm,
Slow and steady, a sinister grin covers Morgan's face.
do you really think he'd do something like Dad?
Not if we stop him first.
He did get really mad pretty fast last night.
Morgan gives an "I told you so" shrug. Interior, living room, day. Heather hands a book to Amy. The cover reads, Betrayal.
I don't know. I guess I just wasn't really a fan of this one.
Really? Huh. I thought you would have...
Madison zips through the room on her way to the front door, but freezes at the sight of Amy and Heather.
Oh, good. Heather, this is Madison.
Madison gives an ominous stare.
Sweetie, let's make sure we're being polite and say hello.
Hi.
Hi. Heather.
Heather begins to take a step towards Madison. Madison quickly takes a step back.
A little shy. That's okay. We'll get to know each other soon enough.
Madison takes a peek at Amy for reassurance.
Where are you headed?
I thought maybe I could go help Kevin.
Such a good idea. Just make sure you don't get in his way and be careful.
Madison rushes out and slams the door behind her.
Tragedy, what happened to her parents?
It's no wonder she's so skittish. I couldn't even imagine. You'd think you could trust someone that close to you.
Amy glowers in Heather's direction. Interior, barn, day. Kevin squeezes himself between the tines and his swather, a large farm tractor used for cutting hay. Madison takes an eerie stance in the doorway of the barn, arms wrapped tight around her doll. Kevin reaches for a bolt with his wrench. Unable to reach, he scoots further into the swather tines. Morgan, behind a few bales of hay on the second floor, overlooks the barn. Kevin torques at the bolt, but it won't budge. Madison eyes the keys in the ignition of the swather, then checks with Morgan. Morgan gives a chilling nod. Kevin adjusts his body further between the tines once more. Madison slides into the seat of the swather, then reaches for the keys. Her fingers grip them tight. Kevin grunts while he torques the bolt tight.
Hey, what are you doing?
The wrench slips off the bolt, and Kevin busts his knuckles.
Son of a bitch!
Matt steps into the barn, candy bar in hand. Madison releases the keys, jumps from the swather. Kevin scoots from under the swather and bangs his head.
God damn it!
Matt laughs. Madison backs away from Matt and the swather.
Who's this?
Madison holds. Matt unwraps the candy bar. Kevin crawls from under the swather, holding his head.
That's Madison.
Matt takes a bite of the candy bar.
This, one of them girls Amy was trying to get from that place?
No, this is just some stray we picked up. Yeah, that's right.
So you just sign up and they give you a kid, huh?
Kevin is flustered.
Yeah, you know, I don't really know. It's more Amy's deal.
Madison is less than pleased.
Still better than a full 18 years, though.
Yeah, I suppose.
Kevin peers over at Madison, who hangs on Kevin's every word.
It is what it is.
So what? Are you like 10 or something?
12.
Matt takes a bite of his candy bar and gives Madison a once-over.
Aren't you a little old for a doll?
Aren't you a little fat for a candy bar?
Madison shoots Matt a resentful glare. Matt looks to Kevin, who chuckles.
Shit, you might be right after all.
Kevin holds his hand up for a high five. Madison leaves him hanging. Matt subtly smiles.
Whatever. You want some advice, kid? Don't be a dick.
Matt points at Kevin with a smirk.
Get to work.
Matt starts towards the swather, and Kevin climbs back between the swather tines.
And also, don't drink.
Matt spins back to Madison, but she's gone.
That kid of yours is fucking weird, man.
A little bit, but still not my kid.
Madison listens to the comment from outside the barn. Kevin and Matt return to work. Madison lurks from behind the barn door with a heinous scowl and glares at Matt and Kevin. Interior, kitchen, night. Madison washes the dishes, and Morgan sits on the counter. Amy preps Kevin's lunch.
How long have you been working on your book?
It's been a couple of years now.
Amy places Kevin's lunch in the fridge.
Why haven't you finished it?
Sometimes life just gets in the way, that's all.
Madison grabs a towel to dry her hands. Amy fills the coffee pot with water.
You do a lot for Kevin.
Morgan dries a large kitchen knife bit by bit with a towel.
He deserves it. He does work hard, and that is what pays the bills.
Madison puts on a smile for Amy's sake.
I'd like to hear a little bit more about your book.
Amy grabs a can of coffee from the cupboard.
I don't know. It's not really all that good.
I'm sure it is. Please.
Amy wavers.
It would be a good bonding moment.
You know what? That does sound nice. I'll grab my notebook if you want to finish up in here.
Okay.
Amy starts out of the kitchen.
Throw a couple scoops of coffee in the top there too, please.
Coffee's gross, by the way.
I know, sweetie. I don't like it either. But it helps Kevin wake up in the morning.
Amy leaves. Madison folds the towel and drapes it over the oven handle.
It can be like a good bonding moment.
Stop.
Madison moves to the sink.
You stop. Your butt kissing is making me sick.
I don't know why you're always so negative.
Because the closer you get to these people, the more likely they'll hurt you. Without me, you'd probably jump into any van that pulls up offering candy.
Madison reflects.
What kind of candy?
You're so stupid.
The girls giggle. Madison opens the cabinet under the sink and places the dish soap in near a box of rat poison. Eyes enlarged, Morgan focuses on the box, and her head rotates back to the coffee pot. Madison scoops coffee grounds into the coffee maker and places the lid back on the coffee can. She spots Morgan staring at the coffee maker.
What are you doing?
Morgan snaps out of it.
Huh?
You're being weird.
Just go do your bonding.
Whatever, weirdo.
Madison tosses the coffee can into the cupboard and exits. Morgan stares at the coffee maker in a trance, then glances at the cabinet under the sink. Interior, Madison's room, night. Madison lies in her bed with Amy seated next to her. She flips through the pages of her notebook.
Sorry, I'm not really sure where to start.
Amy flips a few more pages, then slams the notebook shut.
Maybe this wasn't the best idea.
Please, I really want to hear it. I'm sure it's amazing.
How about I just give you the quick version?
Okay.
Madison settles herself deeper into bed. Amy stands from the bed and paces the room.
Let's see. It starts with a little girl who loves her teddy bear so much that she carries it with her everywhere she goes.
Madison perks up.
Kind of like me and my doll.
Morgan, legs and arms crossed on the other bed, rolls her eyes. Amy and Madison share a smile.
But then one day she meets a new friend, a little boy, and he's an angry little boy. He only wants the little girl to play with just him, and not the teddy bear anymore.
Amy breaks character.
Are you sure you want to hear this? It's not really all that good.
No, it is. Keep going.
Are you sure?
Yeah, keep going.
All right. So, one day when the little girl and the little boy are in the store together, because the mom is babysitting the boy. Sorry, I forgot to mention that part. So they're playing in the store, and the little girl sets her bear down on the ground to play with another toy. The little boy sees this, and when the girl isn't looking, he kicks the teddy underneath the shelf so she can't find it.
Morgan's interest is piqued. Her eyes move to Madison's doll, and her malevolent smile returns.
From that day forward, the little girl was always sad. Even though she still had the little boy to play with, she had lost her best friend forever.
Wait, that's it? She never finds the bear again?
Nope, never again.
Madison is confused.
Wait, I don't get it.
Amy creepily spaces out.
Every story doesn't always have a fairy tale ending. Sometimes life and those you think you can trust just take from you, leaving you with nothing.
Madison glances over at Morgan. Morgan shrugs. Amy gives a little head shake and snaps back.
At least you still have your doll, though, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Morgan shifts her squinted eyes back and forth between Amy and Madison.
All right, get some sleep.
Okay.
Amy slaps her notebook closed and makes for the door. She stops just before she slips out the door.
Madison?
Yeah?
Amy stares at Madison for an unnerving amount of time. Madison clutches her doll tight.
Don't let go.
Amy steps from the room, and the door closes behind her. Madison turns to Morgan. They share a look of discomfort. Interior, Amy's room, night. Amy and Kevin lie asleep in their bed. Bit by bit, the door creeps open. In the doorway, Morgan holds a large kitchen knife at her side. Morgan places one foot in front of the other. The floor creaks with every step. Kevin rolls to his side. Morgan is crouched next to Kevin at his bedside, kitchen knife in hand. Kevin's eyes flicker, then flash open.
What the fuck?
Morgan drops the knife and kicks it under the bed. Her face goes blank, and she stands erect. Amy bursts from her slumber.
Get out!
Morgan flees the room, terrified.
Sweetie, wait! Stop yelling, you're scaring her.
Scaring her? Are you kidding me right now? She's the one creeping in here, creeping all in my face while I'm trying to sleep like a serial killer.
Really, Kevin?
What?
She obviously needed something.
Amy flips the covers back and makes her way out. Kevin flops back into the bed and runs his fingers through his hair.
Fuck me.
Interior, Madison's room, night. Amy peeks into the room. Madison lies covered head to toe under her blanket. Amy seats herself on the edge of the bed.
Are you okay, sweetie?
Amy rubs Madison's back through the covers. Madison rolls to the side and slides the covers from her head.
What are you doing in here?
I just wanted to make sure you're okay.
Madison is confused.
Yeah, I'm fine. Can I go back to sleep now?
I just don't want you to be scared, that's all. And Kevin's still adjusting to having children in the house.
Madison is bewildered.
Okay.
Did you need something?
Yeah, sleep.
Madison pulls the covers back over her head.
Okay, sweetie. I just wasn't sure if you came into the room because you needed something.
Madison's eyes pop wide open from under the covers.
Get your rest. I'll see you in the morning.
Amy pats Madison's back, then leaves the room. Madison listens to the sound of the door closing and Amy's footsteps down the hall. She closes her eyes, then quickly opens them at the sound of the floor creaking.
Morgan?
The creaking intensifies as it nears Madison. She hears heavy breathing, and the sheet sinks towards her.
Morgan?
Morgan rips the covers from Madison's head and is right in her face, knelt at the edge of her bed.
You can't pretend like you don't see what's going on forever.
Madison locks eyes with Morgan, then turns her back and pulls the covers back over her head. Interior, Amy's room, day. Seated on the edge of the bed, Kevin pulls his socks on, then one shoe. Kevin gives the area a once-over, then kneels to look under the bed. Under the bed, Kevin spots his other shoe, grabs it, and pauses, eyes fixated on another item. An apprehensive Kevin resurfaces, kitchen knife in hand. Interior, kitchen, day. Amy pours a cup of coffee, and white powder on the counter catches her attention. She grabs a cleaner from under the sink, sprays the counter, and wipes it clean. Amy turns and finds herself face to face with Kevin, knife to her face.
Explain this.
Startled, Amy clutches her chest.
Sorry. I must have missed it last night.
Amy takes the knife and drops it into the sink.
It's not dirty. I found it under our bed. I told you there was something off.
So what? You think she's hiding things?
No, I'm saying she's probably all fucked up in the head from the whole murder thing.
Amy pours creamer into the coffee and stirs it.
And a lot of those kids are cutters and sadistic little weirdos who torture kittens and baby birds and shit.
You don't think she's gonna hurt herself, do you?
Amy hands Kevin the cup of coffee.
I don't really care if she does. I'm a little more worried she might try and do something to one of us.
Are you even hearing yourself right now? Because you sound ridiculous. First of all, there's been all kinds of stuff popping up under our bed you claimed wasn't there.
Okay, slightly different. I'm not worried about being stabbed to death in my sleep by a sock.
And if she is thinking about hurting herself, maybe she was looking for help last night, and instead of talking to her, you blew up and scared her.
Kevin begins to take a sip of his coffee, but lowers it.
Look, all I know is she's creeping around.
What are you guys doing?
Madison stands in the doorway and stares icily at Kevin.
I don't have time for this shit right now. Where's my lunch?
Kevin sits his coffee cup onto the counter, and Amy hands him his lunch. Agitated, Kevin storms out. Madison follows Kevin with her eyes as he passes, and spots Morgan silently glaring from the other room.
What was that?
He just got up on the wrong side of the bed, that's all. How are you this morning? Everything's okay?
Yeah, why?
Just making sure. And if you ever need anything or just want to talk about anything, I don't want you to be afraid to come to me. And I mean anything.
Madison nods.
Okay.
Amy smiles, lifts the coffee cup, then takes a sip. A villainous smile creeps across Morgan's face. Madison skeptically glares at Morgan's sudden glee. Amy opens the cabinet under the sink and places the cleaner back. Madison spots the box of rat poison and in a panic snatches the cup from the counter and pours it down the sink. The grin is instantly wiped from Morgan's face.
What are you?
Coffee's bad for you. You shouldn't drink it.
Madison grabs the coffee pot and empties it. Amy stands in amazement.
That's very thoughtful of you, but coffee isn't all that bad.
I know. I just wanted to make sure that you're around as long as possible. That's all.
Amy's heart melts.
You are so sweet.
Amy hugs Madison. Madison glances past Amy, back to Morgan. She's gone. Interior, bathroom, day. Amy vomits into the toilet. Madison looks on, concerned, from the doorway.
Are you okay?
Amy concentrates on her breathing.
I'll be fine, sweetie. Probably just ate something that didn't agree with me.
Amy heaves into the toilet again. A little shaken up, Madison leaves. Amy catches her breath and shifts to the sink. Water runs into Amy's cupped hands. She rinses and gargles.
Hello?
Amy spits out a mouthful of water.
Hang on, I'll be out in a sec.
Amy rinses again.
Where are you at?
Heather moves into the doorway. Amy stares at herself in the mirror.
Hey,
Heather gawks at Amy.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I don't know what happened.
Amy rushes to the toilet and hurls.
Maybe we should just read another time
Head buried in the toilet, Amy nods.
and try to get some rest.
Interior, Madison's room, day. Madison paces with her doll.
I saw that look, and now all of a sudden Amy's sick.
And
I want to know if you had anything to do with it.
Madison moves to the window. Morgan and her attitude are perched at the edge of her bed.
I already told you I didn't do anything to Amy.
Then why is she sick? Did you do something to her coffee?
What do you care anyway? You know they really don't care about you, right? And yeah, I did. But it wasn't even meant for her. It was meant for Kevin. Her drinking it was just a bonus.
Actually, I think Amy does care, and she kind of reminds me of Mom a little.
Morgan's constant scowl is traded for anguish.
She's a little like Mom, huh?
Yeah, and she's really is nice.
Madison, with her doll, stares out the window. Morgan's nasty attitude returns.
That doesn't change the fact that something needs to be done about Kevin.
He hasn't really done anything.
That's a bunch of crap and you know it. And are you gonna give him that chance? You've heard how he talks to Amy. We both know how this plays out. He gets loud, then physical.
You don't know that for sure. And don't you think it'll hurt Amy if we...
Not the way he'll hurt her.
Madison goes silent and watches Heather sneak back to the barn from the house.
I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Morgan's nefarious grin shows once again. Interior, barn, day. Kevin has Heather pinned against the wall. Heather unbuttons his shirt while they kiss.
Tell me what you want.
You know what I want.
Kevin thrusts her into the wall.
I want to hear it. I want you to say, shit.
Heather spots Madison and quickly pushes Kevin away. Madison eerily watches from the barn entrance. Kevin immediately steps away from Heather.
What are you doing out here?
Madison's blank stare evokes Kevin's concern.
It's not what you think. You got into a little argument and...
And your shirt got ripped open?
Kevin buttons his shirt.
You know what? Why don't you go play with your creepy little doll or something and forget you were ever out here, huh?
If you were having an argument, maybe I should go get Amy. She's an adult, maybe she can help.
Madison turns to leave the barn. Kevin rushes to her.
Whoa, 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 hang on a second.
Kevin wraps his fingers around Madison's arm, and she screams at the top of her lungs.
Amy!
Kevin pulls away, and his hands fly into the air. He shushes Madison.
Hey, okay, Jesus Christ.
Madison is once again emotionless and quiet.
I should probably go.
Heather gathers her things and cautiously makes her way past Madison, who eyeballs her the entire way out. Madison refocuses on Kevin and grins. Exterior, farmhouse, day. Amy frantically hurries from the house. Heather's about to climb into her car.
Where's Madison?
Heather points, and Amy makes a beeline for the barn. Interior, barn, day.
You think this is funny, you little shit?
Kevin bends over and inches closer to Madison. The smile is wiped from Madison's face.
It's no wonder your daddy did what he did. You've only been here a few days and I'm about to lose my shit.
Kevin is now inches from Madison's face.
I suggest you stay out of my way and learn to keep your mouth shut real fast. Unless you're ready to be...
Amy bursts in. Kevin and Madison whip their heads to Amy.
I heard screaming.
It was nothing. She just saw a mouse and it scared her, right?
Madison's eyes float back and forth from Kevin to Amy.
Yeah, a mouse. Right over there.
Eyes on Kevin, Madison points under the swather. Amy is relieved.
Thank God. I heard screaming and thought someone got hurt.
Madison's eyes are locked on Kevin.
Not yet.
Kevin is vigilant.
What's that?
Kevin locks his eyes on Madison.
You know, kids, they're always doing something that can get them hurt.
Speaking of being hurt, Kevin was having an argument with...
Amy's knees buckle, and she collapses. Kevin takes a knee at her side. Terrified, Madison takes a step back.
Now what the fuck?
Madison catches sight of Morgan on the barn loft, monitoring the situation with distaste. Amy's eyelids flutter open. Confused about what has happened, Amy attempts to sit up.
Just relax for a second and you'll be fine.
Why are you looking at me like that?
You blacked out.
I feel fine.
Amy leans forward, but gets woozy and head bobs.
Maybe you should take her to a doctor.
Kevin shoots an irritated look at Madison.
No, it's okay. I'll just go in and rest a little.
Shit, no, she's right, come on. I'll just finish up out here later. Go in the house and grab my keys.
Madison sprints off. Kevin helps Amy to her feet. Exterior, farmhouse, day. Kevin escorts Amy to his truck. Amy's legs give a little, and Kevin catches her. Madison runs to Kevin with the keys and hands them off.
Stay inside till we get back.
Kevin helps Amy into the truck.
Don't get into anything while we're gone. You have the cell number if you need it, and if there is an emergency, you can call Matt. His number's on the fridge.
Madison nods. Kevin hops in the truck and backs down the driveway. Interior, truck, day. Madison waves from the driveway. Amy rapidly blinks in an attempt to refocus her eyes as she sees two Madisons wave to her. Madison's double flashes and she disappears. Exterior, farmhouse, day. The truck pulls onto the street and speeds away. Side by side, Morgan turns to Madison.
I told you he can't be trusted.
Exterior, farmhouse, day. Perched at the bottom step of the porch, Madison gathers a few pebbles from the dirt and tosses them into the distance. Her doll is propped against a step next to her. Bored, Madison picks up her doll, wanders the area aimlessly. Madison picks up a stick and drags it through the dirt alongside her. Like a sword, Madison slashes the stick through the air, then comes to a standstill at the sight of the old well. Intrigued, she veers toward it. Madison reaches the well, takes a deep breath, then leans over the edge. Only her reflection on the water stares back at her. A ray of light reflects off an unidentifiable object inside the well and shimmers. Madison reaches her stick into the well towards the object. It won't reach. Madison stretches further.
It'll never reach.
Madison stands to find Morgan at her side.
What do you want?
What are we going to do about Kevin and Heather?
Why can't we just tell Amy what happened and let her deal with it? Maybe she'll make him leave.
Remember what happened when Mom made Dad go away? And don't act like you didn't hear him threaten you.
Madison stares at her reflection in the well.
If we don't do something soon, Amy's gonna end up like Mom, and we're gonna end up...
End up what? Say it.
Morgan remains silent.
If you have nothing to say, then why don't you just go away?
You know without me you're nothing.
Madison's frustration grows. She clenches her teeth and fists, then spins back to Morgan.
I said go away!
Morgan's gone. Silence. Madison scans the area. Nothing. She plops down on the edge of the well. In a moment of determination, Madison turns back to the well and steps onto a large rock at the base of the well. She leans over the edge and reaches the stick towards the object in the water. The rock tilts. Madison stumbles and catches herself against the edge. She loses the grip on her doll and it splashes into the water. Distraught, Madison quickly reaches the stick into the well, but only far enough to push it around the top of the water.
No!
Madison rises from the well. She spins and her eyes scour the area in a frenzy.
Help! Someone help!
She glances back into the well.
Morgan, I'm sorry. Please come back. I do need you.
Madison uncontrollably rocks back and forth, then sprints to the house. Interior, kitchen, day. Phone in hand, Madison gazes at a list of phone numbers that hang from the fridge. She dials a number.
Hey, this is Madison. Yeah, Kevin had to take Amy to the hospital. I don't know, but they left me alone and something bad happened, and they said to call you if I needed help. Please hurry.
Madison hangs up the phone. She takes a deep breath, then rests her head against the wall.
There. Now will you please talk to me?
Morgan is amused.
Fine, but we're doing things my way.
Madison solemnly nods.
Remember, I'm not the one trying to hurt you. I'm the one trying to help you.
Morgan's vile expression returns. Exterior, farmhouse, day. Heather pulls into the driveway and springs from the car.
Over here.
Madison, near the well, flags Heather down. Heather scrambles to the well.
Hurry. She fell in and I can't reach her.
Heather reaches the well and hangs her head over the edge. Madison's doll bobs in the water.
Where is she? I don't see her.
Right there. I accidentally dropped her and I can't reach her.
Heather drops her head into her folded arms on the edge of the well. Heather lifts her head to Madison with a relieved smile.
The doll. You dropped your doll.
Yeah, she's right there and I can't reach her.
Heather shakes her head.
Thank God. Okay, let me see if I can reach.
Heather bends over the edge and reaches for the doll. Her fingertips touch the top of the doll. The doll dips under, then pops back up.
You almost got it.
Madison backs away. Heather adjusts herself on the ledge and leans further into the well. With a shove from behind, Heather tips over the edge. She tries to catch herself, but her grip won't hold. Heather splashes into the well. Morgan peers over the edge. Heather claws at the edge of the well, trying to climb out. She digs her fingertips between some stones and is able to hold herself from sinking into the water. Heather looks up and spots Morgan. Morgan stares back with a blank face.
Go to the barn and grab a rope.
Morgan doesn't respond.
Go!
Morgan flees. Heather's arms tremble. She struggles to keep her grip. She hears a commotion above.
You agreed to doing it my way. The rope!
Fine.
Hello? Madison?
Heather's grip on one hand fails, and she searches for a better grip. Heather props her back against one side of the well and legs against the other. Her anxiety takes over.
Help! Somebody help me!
Heather gazes up at the top of the well. She braces herself tight against the wall in an attempt to walk her way up the wall. Heather hears a large thud and looks up. A large rock slides to the edge and teeters. Heather's eyes widen. The rock tips over the edge. Heather screams. At the edge of the well, Madison closes her eyes tight. The rock splashes in the water. Madison flinches. Silence. Morgan pokes her head over the edge of the well, pleased with her accomplishment. The doll bobs up and down in the ripples of the water. Madison dusts herself off and spots Heather's car in the driveway. Interior, Heather's car, day. Madison sits in the driver's seat, barely able to see over the steering wheel. She adjusts the rearview mirror to Morgan, who stares back through the reflection.
Just go.
Madison places the car in gear, looks over her shoulder, and hits the gas. Her head slams into the seat and the car shoots forward. Madison slams the brakes and the car skids to a stop. Madison's heart races. She glances at Morgan in the mirror. Morgan glares back, less than impressed.
Nice.
If it's so easy, you do it.
Later, the car tires spin in reverse, kicking up dust. The car tears down the driveway and comes to a screeching halt in the street. The tires squeal, and the car tears down the country road, swerving from side to side. Morgan bounces up and down in the driver's seat with a shit-eating grin. Later, the car turns down a dirt road alongside an orchard, then turns between a row of trees. Exterior, orchard, day. Madison and Morgan jog out of the orchard and quickly slide to a stop at the sound of a car engine near the road. They jump back into the orchard, tuck themselves behind a tree, and watch Kevin's truck speed past. Overcome by worry, the girls sprint through the orchard. Interior, Kevin's truck, day. Kevin steers the truck into the driveway. Amy sits in the passenger side. She fidgets. Kevin parks the truck and sits silently for a beat.
I think we should talk about our options.
What options? We're having a baby.
I'm not sure how this even happened.
Not sure how it happened.
I thought after what happened, the doctor said this wasn't even possible.
Well, apparently he was wrong.
Then you make me bring some weird-ass kid into our house.
Make you? You agreed to it. You signed the papers too, Kevin.
And now you get yourself pregnant.
I get myself pregnant. I'm pretty sure it takes two, Kevin. And I never made you do anything.
This is our chance to get back to us. Back to the family we wanted. Something I gave up on the day we left that hospital without our girls.
You think it was easy for me to go through that? To deliver my babies knowing they'd never make it home?
Kevin takes a deep breath to try and gather himself.
Kids like this have been through unimaginable tragedies, and all you can think about is how inconvenient it is for you to have them in your house. We're a family whether you like it or not.
We are.
Kevin points to himself, Amy, and her stomach.
We are not.
Give circles his hand between himself, Amy, and the house.
That child is ours. I'm not taking away from ours to give to someone else's.
Don't worry, Kevin. We don't have to take care of them. Only I do.
Amy hops out of the truck and slams the door behind her.
It's not what I meant.
Amy storms off to the house. Kevin leans back in his seat and closes his eyes. He covers his face with his hands and sighs. He slams his hands on the steering wheel.
Fuck me!
Kevin reaches for the door handle but jumps back, frightened by Madison, who gives an unnerving stare through his window.
God damn it!
Exterior, farmhouse, day. Kevin trashes about while he climbs from his truck.
Stop being so fucking creepy!
Madison takes a step back with a soulless stare. Kevin pauses for a beat.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say it like that.
Yes, you did.
Kevin breaks.
You know what? Yeah, I did! You're always popping up out of nowhere and carrying that creepy little fucking doll around talking to yourself. Speaking of which, where is that little monster? Waiting under my bed to chop me into pieces when I fall asleep?
Filled with frustration, Kevin paces in the driveway and kicks some dirt and gravel. Madison keeps her distance and anxiously watches.
I dropped her in the well.
Kevin stops and throws his hands on his hips.
And that's the one your mom gave you?
Madison nods. Kevin hesitates, then waves for Madison to follow.
Come on.
Madison and Kevin lean over the well's edge and find her doll drifting atop the water.
See? Right there.
Madison points.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to miss.
Kevin shakes his head.
I can't believe I'm about to save Chucky from the well.
Kevin leans into the well. His fingertips reach, but only enough to push the doll, not enough to grip it. Madison's eyes leave the doll and rotate to Kevin, and she slowly takes a step back.
You almost have it. Just reach a little further.
Kevin stretches further over the edge. Madison grows a villainous grin. Kevin is leaned as far as he can into the well. His fingertips are on the doll, then he snatches it from the water.
Hey, you got it.
Madison explodes with joy. Madison snatches the doll from his hand, then runs off towards the house.
You're welcome. Or not.
Kevin does a double take into the well. The outline of a face catches his eye. From the side of the house, Madison lets her doll, dripping wet, dangle at her side, eyes locked on Kevin. A small pebble falls from the edge of the well and breaks the plane. Kevin's reflection ripples in the water. Kevin shakes his head and makes his way to the barn. Morgan steps to Madison's side, visibly appalled.
You missed your chance.
We both know I can't do it without you.
Interior, dining room, night. Seated at the table, Amy and Kevin eat. Madison has barely touched her food. Morgan, without a plate in front of her, glares at Kevin. Madison takes a small bite.
This is really good.
Thank you, sweetheart.
Kevin gives a small huff, then drinks from his beer. Amy gives a quick glance at Kevin and takes a deep breath. Madison pushes the food around her plate with her fork.
Are you sure it's okay? You've barely eaten.
Madison glances at Morgan, who still hasn't removed her eyes from Kevin.
I'm just not feeling the best right now.
Eating this ain't gonna make you feel much better.
Amy whips her head to Kevin.
Is it not good enough for you?
It's frozen lasagna. All you did was heat it up.
Imagine that. Something else you don't want.
That's a little extreme, don't you think?
Amy stands from the table and attempts to leave the room. Kevin grabs Amy by the arm.
Would you just calm down?
Madison springs from the table and latches onto Kevin's arm in an attempt to free Amy.
Get off of her!
Madison tugs at Kevin. Kevin pushes Madison away and she falls to the ground. The back of her head slams into the kitchen table. Madison holds her head and whimpers. Morgan rises from the table. A hellish scowl covers her face and hate fills her eyes. Ashamed, Kevin holds his position. Amy rips her arm from Kevin, rushes to Madison's side, and glares back at Kevin.
Get out of my house.
It was an accident.
Out!
Fine. I'm sick of this bullshit anyway.
Kevin storms out.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Amy rubs Madison's head. Madison winces.
Looks like you might have a little bump. I'll grab you an ice pack.
Why does he want to hurt us?
He didn't mean to hurt you, sweetie. It was just an accident.
It wasn't an accident when he was trying to hurt you.
Amy's eyes swell. She holds back tears and hugs Madison. Morgan keeps her distance, but watches closely.
Let's go get you that ice pack. Okay?
Interior, Amy's room, night. Amy folds back the covers on her side of the bed. Kevin drifts into the doorway.
Hey,
Amy ignores him.
I didn't mean for things to happen like that. You know it was an accident, right?
Kevin staggers in.
I'm all stressed out about the whole foster thing, and now the baby? I don't know, it's a lot to take in.
Kevin moves in on Amy and places his hand on her shoulder. Amy pulls away.
You're drunk.
I just had a few to calm down, that's all.
Kevin wraps his arms around Amy in an attempt to hug her. She wriggles loose and pushes Kevin away.
Don't touch me.
Kevin plops down on the bed. His hands cover his face, then run upward through his hair. Amy crosses her arms and takes deep, controlled breaths. Kevin kicks his shoes off onto the floor, then stands and peels his shirt. Amy grabs a pillow from the bed and hits Kevin in the chest with it.
No. You get the couch.
Kevin takes his pillow and makes his way to the door.
Don't you ever hurt me or my kids again.
Whatever happened to drink Amy? The giggling one I had to carry home every time she had more than 2 beers.
She grew up.
Kevin pauses, then teeters off. Amy slumps onto the bed and cries. Interior, farmhouse, night. Living room. Kevin lies on the couch and fluffs his pillow. The sound of footsteps on the second floor catches attention. He lies silent and listens close. Eyes peeled, Kevin watchfully sits up. Through the dark, he watches the doorway into the room close. Behind Kevin, on the rocking chair, Morgan waits, motionless. Kevin gradually rises, then attentively tiptoes through the room, towards the doorway, to the stairwell. Silence. Madison lightly rocks the chair behind Kevin, and it creaks. Kevin freezes. With a slow turn back, Kevin spots Morgan in the rocking chair, methodically rocking back and forth. A large kitchen knife is in Morgan's hand across her lap.
What you got there?
Morgan rocks faster. Kevin looks up the stairs towards Amy's room, then back to the chair. Morgan is gone. Head on a swivel, he quickly scans the area and sees nothing. Kevin cautiously makes his way back into the room in search of Morgan. Morgan, knife in hand, hides behind the couch. Kevin walks past, in front of the couch. Kevin hears footsteps on the stairs and hurries to the stairway. Kevin sprints up the steps. Hallway. Up the stairs, Kevin turns towards Amy's room and grabs the doorknob, then holds. Kevin slowly looks over his shoulder. Morgan stands behind him in the hallway, knife in hand. Kevin takes his hand from the doorknob and turns to Morgan.
You're not gonna hurt Amy again, are you?
Just checking on her, that's all. Why don't you head back to bed, Madison?
It wasn't a question, and that's not my name.
Kevin glances back down the stairs, then back to Morgan, in time to watch her disappear into her room. Kevin rushes into Amy's room. Kevin shakes Amy from her slumber.
Get up.
Amy springs to her feet.
What? What's going on? Is everyone okay?
Kevin shushes Amy.
I need you to see this.
Kevin takes Amy by the arm and escorts her to the door, then peeks out to the hallway. Head on a swivel, Kevin pulls Amy from the room.
What's going on?
Kevin holds a finger up to silence Amy. He pushes Madison's door open and glances in. Amy leans past Kevin and takes a peek. The beds are empty. Kevin takes Amy by the hand and leads her down the stairway.
I don't understand what we're...
Just wait.
On high alert, Kevin turns into the living room. Amy's hands cover her mouth. An empty rocking chair slows to a stop. Kevin's blood boils. Madison, asleep, lies curled up on the couch in Kevin's spot.
See? They just need a little time to get to know you, that's all.
No, she wasn't there a second.
It's fine. You can come back to bed.
Amy grabs Kevin's hand and pulls him back up the stairs. Kevin takes a look back. Eyes open wide, Madison stares back at Kevin. Interior, farmhouse, day. Stairway. Amy hobbles down the stairs, half awake, and wipes sleep from her eyes. A rustling from the kitchen catches Amy's attention. She listens closely and curiously makes her way closer. Amy picks up a fly swatter from an end table and slowly approaches the kitchen. A large framed man rummages through the fridge. Amy creeps into the doorway. Madison, doll in hand, walks up behind Amy.
Do we have any?
Amy screams and whips the fly swatter over Madison's head. She misses her by a hair. Madison screams.
What is everyone screaming?
Amy whips the fly swatter back and slaps Matt across the face. He spills the soda in his hand.
Son of a bitch.
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
I just wanted a soda. Christ.
Matt holds his face. Amy comforts him.
I didn't know you were supposed to be here today. Let me see.
Matt removes his hand and a red welt swells on his face. Madison tries to hold in her laughter.
Kevin asked for help. I wouldn't have showed up if I'd known I'd be beaten and laughed at.
Madison can't hold back. Her laughter escapes.
Let me get you an ice pack.
No, it's fine.
Matt gingerly touches the welt.
It looks like you got kicked in the face by a horse. And the spot Amy got you looks pretty bad too.
Matt faux laughs.
I see you're still carrying that stupid doll.
Madison's face goes stale.
Fatty.
Enough, you two.
Kevin steps into the room.
What are you doing? Let's go.
Kevin and Madison show a moment of distaste for each other.
What happened to your face?
Madison smirks at Matt. Matt knocks the doll from Madison's hand on his way past.
Your kid's creepier than that doll.
Still not my kid.
Madison picks up her doll and gives a malevolent stare. Kevin and Matt exit. Interior, barn, day. Matt replaces spring tines on the front of the swather. Kevin works on it from underneath.
You find it yet?
No, I'm sure it's electrical though.
Kevin roots around.
What's the deal with that Foster thing? Is it like a forever thing?
Behind some hay on the second floor, Morgan peers down from above and sneaks a listen.
I sure fucking hope not. Amy's been a bitch ever since, and I'm about sick of it.
I hear ya. That Madison's a little shit, huh?
Yeah, you're telling me. I think that whole murder thing's got her all fucked up.
Kevin continues to search the undercarriage of the swather.
Couldn't they just go live with a family member or some shit?
Obviously not, dickhead. If there was any family, there wouldn't be foster care, would there?
So now what?
I don't know. With Amy being pregnant or not.
Matt is stunned.
Wait, Amy's pregnant?
Yeah,
Back the fuck up. I thought she couldn't have kids.
that's what I said. Anyway, so now we have to do this whole baby thing alongside the foster thing. I hate that she wants to take care of someone else's the same as if it were ours.
So what? You just give kids like that back when you're done with them, or what?
Gotta get rid of them somehow. Can't do both.
You can always drop them off in the woods.
Kevin chuckles. Morgan is seething. She begins to back away, but bumps into antique farm hardware hung on the wall. It bangs together. Matt turns back and glances to the second floor. The hardware sways, then slows to a stop. He sees no one. Matt returns to work.
That's fucked up, man.
Kevin finds an electrical connector dangling loose and snips the part off with wire cutters.
Looks like one of the relays got fucked up. I'm pretty sure we don't have another.
Kevin shuffles out from underneath the swather. He rises to his feet, then knocks the dirt off his clothes. Kevin lifts the part for Matt to see.
Must have got snagged on something going through the field.
Amy steps into the barn, soda in hand.
Everything going okay out here?
Yeah, but I'm gonna have to run into town for a piece.
A piece?
Yeah, a piece, a part. I need to pick up a relay. Why are you always questioning everything?
Sorry, I was just wondering.
Get the tines swapped out, then once you're done, go ahead and drop the oil and filter.
Kevin passes Amy on his way out without a second look.
Don't be gone long.
Amy offers the soda to Matt.
I figured it's the least I could do, considering.
Thanks. Doesn't look too bad, does it?
Matt turns his head and a large welt runs across his face.
Could be worse.
I guess I'll just have to rely on this sexy body to attract the ladies.
Matt shimmies and caresses his body. Amy shakes her head.
So what part exactly did Kevin have to go pick up?
I think he said it was some sort of electrical relay or something.
So there was a part, though.
Matt is confused.
I'm not sure what you mean.
I mean, the part, the one Kevin needed to go to town for. Never mind. Enjoy your soda.
Amy gives a half-hearted smile and backs out of the barn. Interior, Madison's room, day. Madison rests on the edge of her bed and nervously combs her doll's hair.
Are you sure we have to do this?
She tosses her doll on the bed and paces the room.
I mean, there's gotta be another way.
And what way is that? You heard him. He's gonna get rid of us any way he can.
Can't we just call the cops or something?
Madison nervously rocks.
Why? So we can go back to the agency or another foster home, or even worse, back to the state? At least here you have your precious Amy.
Stop calling her that, and no,
Feel your head.
Madison feels the small lump on the back of her head. Morgan grabs Madison's shirt and pulls it down at the collar.
Do you want it to turn into this?
Madison glances down at the bullet hole scar on her shoulder, then glances back to Morgan and shakes her head. Madison paces the room, eyes glued to the floor.
I can't do it. I can't. Matt hasn't done anything, and I'm not doing it just to do it.
Oh, we're doing it.
Madison stops pacing, lifts her head, and clenches her fists. Madison charges Morgan and slams her to the ground. They fight for position.
I said no!
Madison climbs atop of Morgan.
Get off me!
Morgan struggles to move. Madison pins her down.
No, not until you promise.
He's gonna drop you off in the woods.
Madison pauses.
What?
He told Kevin to drop us off in the woods. You heard it.
Madison eases up. Quick flashes, Madison's memories. In the attic of Madison's old home, she hides from her father, then glances over to see Morgan appear next to her. Madison sits in the back seat of Amy's car, with only her doll seatbelted in next to her. At the well, Amy mouths the words, "You two figure it out," and points to Madison and her doll. Madison holds her doll in her room and talks to herself. She slaps herself on the shoulder, says, "Now get your shit together," and runs and jumps into the other bed. Madison fills the coffee pot and spots the rat poison. She pours some into the coffee maker and places it back. Madison stares at her own reflection in the mirror of Heather's car and argues with herself. Madison, doll in hand, stands alone in the loft of the barn and listens in to Matt and Kevin. Back to scene.
I know you hear these things too. Stop acting like this isn't you, like I'm not you. This is all you. You created me to protect you, and now all you want to do is fight me. Well, guess what? Without me, you're nothing. Without me, those boys at the state housing would have raped and murdered you.
Madison recedes into her own thoughts. Morgan takes advantage and flips Madison onto her back.
And what's your problem anyway? I thought you didn't like Kevin.
Madison on bottom struggles to free herself. Amy bursts into the room. She pauses for a moment and watches Madison thrash around on her back, alone in her room. Amy rushes to Madison, grabs her by the shoulders, and holds her from harming herself.
Madison, sweetie, wake up. Shh, 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 shh. It's okay.
Madison's eyes lock onto Amy and calms, but seems slightly confused for a moment.
It's okay. Everything's okay.
Amy pulls Madison in close, cuddles her, and rocks her back and forth. Madison throws her arms around Amy.
Sweetie, you're having a bad dream?
Madison peeks over at Amy's shoulder and catches a glimpse of Morgan on the bed, with a scowl on her face. Madison lets go of Amy.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I must have just fallen asleep or something.
Amy and Madison rise to their feet.
Well, I'm glad you're okay.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Madison lets an awkward smile slip.
You sure?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just about done making lunch if you want to run a sandwich out to Matt.
Madison glances over at Morgan on her bed. Morgan gives a slow nod.
We'll take it out, Dan.
Amy glances over her shoulder at the empty bed, then back to Madison.
We?
I meant I, or, well, we, I guess.
Madison grabs her doll quickly and holds it up. Interior, barn, day. Matt lies on his back under the swather and tightens a bolt. A loose wire catches his eye. Matt runs his thumb across the cleanly cut wire. He hears footsteps run past, and his head swivels to the side from under the tractor. Matt sees nothing. Matt continues to tighten the bolt, then freezes. He now hears a soft voice, then the sound of little feet sprinting past. He searches for the culprit. Nothing. Matt smiles to himself, then places the wrench near the bolt and holds it in place. He waits in silence. The footsteps begin again. Matt slings his hand out from under the swather and grabs Madison's leg. Madison and her doll fall to the ground. She cries and quickly hops to her feet, then runs off.
Shit.
Matt scoots out from under the swather.
Hey, I'm sorry, I was just playing.
Matt notices Madison's doll on the ground in front of him.
You forgot your doll.
Matt bends down to pick up the doll, and Madison is revealed on the second floor of the barn behind him. She holds a kitchen knife against a small rope that holds a large hook and pulley in place. Matt stands upright and takes a good look at the doll.
You are a creepy little fucker, aren't you?
Matt's eyes widen. His mouth draws open, and blood pours from his lips. The doll falls from Matt's hand. His eyes close and body goes limp. Embedded in the back of Matt's neck is the hook at the end of the pulley. It bears the weight of Matt's lifeless body. Madison climbs down from the second floor, and she immediately picks her doll up and holds it tight. Madison takes a good look at Matt, then turns to Morgan at her side. Morgan revels at the sight of Matt's body as it sways from the hook at the end of the pulley.
I knew you could do it. Now let's do something with him before Amy starts wondering where we're at, and we have to do something about her too.
Madison sets her doll to the side. Then, hand over hand, she quickly pulls the chain through the mechanical pulley. Matt's body rises upward at a fraction of the chain's pace. Exterior, farmhouse, day. Amy steps out of the house and heads for the barn. Interior, barn, day. With Matt's body almost to the ceiling, Madison stops and hustles up the ladder to the second floor. Second floor. Madison pulls the rope attached to the pulley, and it slides along the rail from above towards her. Exterior barn, day. Amy approaches the barn. Interior barn, day. Second floor. Madison struggles to pull Matt's body over some bales of hay, then lowers him to the floor. Morgan stands at Madison's side and supervises.
Now rip it out.
What do you mean, rip it out?
Lunch!
Madison springs to the upright position, and her head whips towards the barn door. Amy steps in and spots Madison alone on the second floor.
What are you doing?
Madison glances down at Matt's body on the floor hidden behind the bales of hay.
Just hanging?
Well, lunch is done.
I'll be right down.
Just make sure you're not getting into any of Kevin's things.
Madison nods. Amy spies the plate of food for Matt.
Where's Matt?
He said he had to head out for something.
Morgan turns to Madison with an amused grin.
All right. Well, come and get washed up so you can eat.
Amy exits. Morgan continues to smirk.
You said head out
Stop.
and just hanging out.
Stop.
Morgan giggles.
Hurry up, Madison!
Madison hovers over Matt and talks to herself.
Just leave him.
Madison takes a good look at the body, grabs a few handfuls of loose hay, and tosses it over his body.
That's not gonna help. Just leave him and we'll get it later.
Madison double times it down the ladder and runs out. Interior, living room, day. Amy, with Madison, stands in awe, hands cupped over her mouth.
Then I saw Heather.
Kevin steps into the room. Amy and Madison go silent, then turn to Kevin. Suspicious, Kevin refuses to remove his eyes from Madison. Amy and Madison continue to eye Kevin for a beat in an awkward silence.
Are we telling secrets?
Girl talk.
Kevin's eyes shift between Amy and Madison.
Matt's still here?
No.
He had to go.
The tension rises, leaving Kevin uncomfortable.
Can we talk for a second?
Sure.
Everyone holds their ground.
Alone?
Why don't you go play and give me and Kevin a minute?
A mutual distaste is relayed when Kevin and Madison lock eyes on her way out of the door.
I thought about it on my way to town, and I'm not sure I feel all that safe with Madison here if we're gonna have a baby in the house.
Speaking of going to town, did you get your part?
What?
The one you went to town for. Did you get it?
Kevin pulls the electrical component from his pocket and waves it for Amy to see.
They sold you a used one?
Amy attentively awaits a response.
They didn't have any in stock, so they grabbed one off a machine out back. What the hell does this have to do with anything?
You tell me. You're the one that keeps disappearing into town all the time.
Because the goddamn machines need to be fixed, and if...
I haven't seen Heather for a few days. Did you run into her while you were in town?
Kevin is silenced.
You know what? I don't need this bullshit. When you're ready to see past your little pity project and done feeling sorry for yourself, I'll be in the barn.
Drunk, I'm sure.
Fuck you. Go back to pretending anything you do even means anything.
Kevin storms out and slams the door behind him. Morgan peeks from around the corner with a hate-filled glare. Interior, barn, night. Kevin slides from underneath the swather, wipes his brow, and tosses a wrench into a toolbox. He grabs an open beer off the swather, finishes it off, and tosses it into a pile of other empties on the ground. Kevin reaches into the ice chest and pulls out a bottle of whiskey, then heads to a bale of hay under the ledge of the second floor loft. A few spots of blood stain the hay in a small area. Kevin sits directly on it. Second floor, Matt's body lies scattered with hay. Blood slowly drips from his lifeless lips to the wood floor. First floor, a drop of blood forms through a crack in the second floor directly above Kevin. Kevin takes a swig of the whiskey. Something on the floor under some loose hay catches Kevin's eyes, and he reaches for it. The weight of the blood droplet causes it to break away. Kevin leans forward and picks up a bottle cap. A drop of blood lands on his back. Kevin leans back and rests himself on the bale of hay. He places the cap between his fingers and thumb, then snaps his fingers, sending the bottle cap flying across the barn. Kevin takes another drink, leans back, and rests himself. Another drop of blood forms. He scans the barn and sighs, then lurches forward and back to his feet. The drop of blood falls onto the hay where he was seated. Kevin takes another drink and staggers out of the barn. Interior, farmhouse, night. Living room. Bottle in hand, Kevin plops down into the rocking chair and turns on the TV. The glow of the TV illuminates Kevin. Kevin rocks slower and slower. His eyes grow heavy until he's no longer able to keep them open. The chair stops. Madison peeks around the corner with a sinister glare at Kevin asleep in his chair. She breaks her stare and walks past out the front door. The front door clicks as it closes. Kevin flinches and his bottle drops to the floor. Startled, he wakes and quickly grabs the bottle before too much is spilled. Kevin rises from the chair and leaves the room. Hallway. Kevin teeters his way to Amy's door and attempts to open it. The door is locked. Kevin vigorously shakes the handle, then bangs on the door.
Amy, open the door.
Amy's room. Knees to her chest, Amy rests her back against the headboard. She grips her pillow tight, and body shudders with every bang.
Baby, are you awake?
Go away.
Baby, open the door.
You're drunk again. Go sleep on the couch.
Hallway. Kevin rests his forehead against the door and rubs it with one hand.
Honey, can you please open the door?
Not when you're like this, Kevin.
Kevin drops his head and peeks back at Madison's room.
Baby.
Kevin knocks lightly.
Honey.
Kevin explodes and beats on the door.
Open the fucking door!
Amy jumps off the bed and on her hands and knees reaches under the bed and removes the wooden bat. Petrified, Amy stands her ground with the bat held high. Filled with rage, Kevin turns away from the door. His eyes focus in on Madison's room. A bit tipsy, Kevin careens toward her door. With a powerful grin, Kevin unbuckles his belt and pulls it from his belt loops. Kevin drags the belt against the wall and down the hall, all the while trying to keep himself steady. He pushes the door open to Madison's room and positions himself in the doorway.
Madison.
The room is empty. Kevin makes his way back to the stairway. He stumbles down the stairs. Amy's room. Amy hears Kevin's heavy footsteps tromp down the stairs and carefully approaches her door. Living room. Kevin scans the room.
Come out, wherever you are.
A flicker of light from the window grabs Kevin's attention. He approaches and peeks out. A silhouette moves about the lighted barn. A vengeful grin lights Kevin's face. Interior, barn, night. First floor. Madison stands in front of a wheelbarrow and stares up to the second floor.
What if we just left him?
Madison turns to Morgan, who's now at her side.
If we leave him there, someone's gonna find him and we'll end up in a place worse than this.
Madison nods.
Let's just get him down, dump him in the well, and we're done.
I'm not going to be able to lift him once we get out there.
Madison has an epiphany. Morgan grins.
That's perfect.
Just dump him in front of the well. Exactly. We leave him there, then call the cops and say we saw Kevin trying to toss him in.
Morgan smirks.
Then when they show up, they find Matt and Heather. And
No more Kevin.
I knew you'd come around.
Madison and Morgan share a freakishly evil smirk. Madison rushes up the ladder. Second floor. Madison approaches Matt's body. Morgan, already there, stares down on the body. Madison yanks at the chain attached to the pulley. The chain quickly spins through the pulley, barely lifting the body.
Silly little girl. Always playing with things that can get you hurt.
Madison instantly stops, and Matt's body falls back down. Kevin stands in the barn, belt dangling from his hand.
Don't stop whatever it is you're doing on account of me.
Madison is frozen in fear.
Why don't you come on down here so we can have us a little talk?
Madison glances at Matt's body, hidden behind the hay, then back to Kevin.
Or I can just come up there.
Kevin takes a step towards the ladder.
Okay.
A nasty grin lights Kevin's face. Madison climbs down the ladder. First floor. Kevin moves in on Madison and backs her against the wall. He leans his face into hers. Madison quivers.
Imagine that. Speechless. You didn't seem to have a problem talking earlier, now did you?
Kevin spins her around and slams her into the wall. Kevin grabs Madison by the back of the neck and presses her face against the wall.
You want to tell me what you told Amy?
Madison clenches her teeth and hatred fills her eyes.
Nothing, huh? What do you say we find out if there's something we can do to make you talk?
Kevin takes a quick step back. Enraged, he lashes the belt across Madison's back. Madison drops to her knees, gasps for air, and tears fall. Kevin reaches down and grabs Madison by the hair. He holds her down on her knees.
Speak.
Kevin raises the belt. A wooden bat strikes Kevin across the back of his head. He crashes to the ground and lies unconscious. Amy towers over Kevin, bat in hand. Amy drops the bat, helps the weakened Madison to her feet, and holds her close. Kevin wakes, and in a daze, grips the bat and lifts himself from the ground. Kevin lifts his head to Amy with malevolent resolve. Amy, back to Kevin, hugs Madison. Madison opens her tear-filled eyes and spots Kevin rise to his feet.
Amy!
Madison pulls away from Amy.
Run!
Madison sprints up the ladder, Amy on her heels. Kevin drags the bat behind him a few paces before he lifts it to his shoulder. At the top of the ladder, Madison looks to Amy, only halfway up.
Hurry!
Kevin latches on Amy's leg with one hand, but Amy kicks her way loose. Kevin drops the bat and grips her other leg tight with both hands and pulls. Amy crashes to the floor, and her head slams into the ground. Amy lies motionless. Kevin peers at Amy, then gazes back to Madison.
This is your fault, you little shit. Until you came along, everything was perfect. No kids, no questions, no problems.
Kevin's cold stare pierces through Madison with each deliberate step he takes up the ladder. Madison backs away with nowhere to go. Second floor. Madison quickly scans the second floor. Kevin wrathfully takes one deliberate step after another.
What's wrong? All alone again?
Filled with dread, Madison searches for an out and spots a rusty metal bar hanging on the wall. She snatches the bar, grips it tight with both hands, and continues to step back.
I'll take the bait, little fisherman.
Kevin plucks an old sickle blade from the barn wall. Madison takes another step back, trips over Matt's body, and falls on her rear. Madison scoots away from Kevin as he inches closer. Kevin stops at the sight of Matt's body. His eyes leave Matt and return to Madison.
I knew you were nothing but an evil little shit. Just like your father. And I tried to tell her. Did she listen? Nope. But why would she? I'm just the drunk asshole husband, right?
Kevin continues his slow approach to Madison.
But now I guess I have no choice but to defend myself. I don't know what got into her, officer. I was in here working and went up to the second floor, and next thing I knew, she was coming at me with the sickle. All I remember after that was grabbing the sickle and trying to keep her off me. And I guess she fell on it when we tripped.
A nefarious sneer covers Kevin's face. Madison scoots back until stopped by the wall.
What's the matter? Mommy not here to protect you?
Kevin raises the sickle. Madison glances to Amy, who stands behind Kevin.
Yes, she is.
Kevin turns back. Amy swings the bat. Kevin sidesteps and avoids the bat, but his foot catches the edge of the floor and slips. Kevin loses his balance and falls onto the swather tines below. Blood spills from Kevin's midsection where the tines punch through. Amy stares down from above. Kevin takes his last breath and his head drops. Madison leaps to her feet and runs into Amy's arms.
Are you okay?
Madison pulls away from Amy.
Yeah.
Madison embraces Amy tight. First floor. Kevin's limp body lies impaled with the swather tines, and his eyes open are glossed over. Kevin's eyes twitches. Exterior, farmhouse, day. Madison pulls the mail from the mailbox at the edge of the road. Her doll is tucked under her arm. A large package in particular catches Madison's eye. She rips it open. Madison slides a book out. Filled with excitement, Madison rushes into the barn. Interior, barn, day. Super, 8 months later. Madison, package in hand, flies into the barn.
It's here!
Amy leans back from the swather, wrench in hand. Grease covers her hands and the front of her overalls where her 8-month pregnancy belly protrudes. Amy grabs a rag and wipes her hands.
Are you excited?
Madison excitedly nods her head and hands Amy the package.
Let's take a look.
Amy opens the package and removes a book. The teddy bear on the cover lights Amy's face, and the title reads, The One They Left Behind, by Amy Aldrich. Giddy with joy, Madison throws herself at Amy. A cell phone rings.
Hang on one sec, sweetie.
Amy pulls a phone from her pocket and answers it.
Hello. Dr. Stone, how are you?
Amy holds a finger up for Madison to wait a moment.
Uh-huh, yeah. No, actually, she's been doing great.
The sound of a truck pulling into the driveway catches Madison's attention.
No more outbursts or signs of, what do you call it? Dissociative identity disorder. It's been wonderful.
Madison makes her way to the barn door and stares out at a man parking his old pickup in front of the barn.
Me? You know, it's been a little trying for sure. Definitely a lot more work on my own, but I'm hanging in there. And Madison has been helping so much. She's going to make an amazing big sister.
The man steps from the truck, single red rose in hand.
Sure thing, Dr. Stone. I'll be sure to call if we need anything. And thank you again. You've been a miracle worker. Okay, bye. Bye.
Amy hangs up and steps next to Madison in the barn doorway. Madison looks up to Amy with a happy-go-lucky smile.
Who do you think he is?
Well, I was waiting to make sure I liked him before I introduced you. His name is Andy. We've been on a few dates. Now I understand I don't expect you to like him right away.
Madison's schoolgirl smile fades to a sinister sneer. Fade out.